So you talked about those double tap and a
Yeah.
phone kind of cadence. So when so just tell the cadence in like for maybe for an account or for that particular person in like a month or like what's your sequence like? Does it end in 21 days, 7 touch points? What's your strategy over there?
So I I would say that my strategy is not black and white
Okay.
because I don't I don't think it to serves us being like the coaches, consultants, the sales leaders to say, here's the one thing that's going to work for your organization. So my strategy and approach is a little bit different. Um, it is going to be following best practice for that industry and that seniority level of persona to make sure that I am creating sequences that have the right distance between touch points and the right channels. From there, we're going to test. Like the very first most important thing we can do before we can build repeatable processes is figuring out what that baseline looks like. And then once we have that baseline in terms of where in the sequence are we getting the most opens, asking questions like, hey, we ran a 12 touch sequence, but at like 95% of engagement came at touch 9 or before. So maybe next time we just cut the last 3 steps or like rearrange them to make it a little bit tighter. Taking those like maybe we realize after running the initial sequences that 80% of our engagement came from, or 80% of our meetings came from cold calls. So then maybe we're going to put in more cold calls or we're going to move them earlier in the sequence. So I am much less about here's the one template that you need to use. And I'm much more focused on, we'll start with sort of the best practice parameters. And then let's really see what the data is telling us so that we can iterate on that copy and on the channels and on the overall story the sequence tells based on how your prospects are interacting with it. But a couple truths would be a 3-channel approach is your best bet. Having at least 8 touch points is still really important. That's still an evergreen truth. It has not gone away. And cold calls work in every industry. I've never met an industry where cold calls did not work, even if the result of the cold calls are not high pickup rates. Still being able to leave that voicemail or send that text message, still finding a way to use the phone, which is a primary method of communication for every prospect I've ever engaged with, is supremely important. So don't believe people that tell you that cold calling is dead. That's total BS.